Hey, are we getting ready to see a dance party from radio host BRANT HANSEN? Why not? He has no worries.
It's not just a thing that you can just throw a switch and go, hey, this year, my New Year's resolution, I'm never going to be worried again. What you want to do is become a different sort of person from the inside out. And that's what I'm talking about doing the stuff Jesus told us to do, which is actually fun. Blessing your enemies, praying for people. It's hard at first, but you become a different sort of person and then you react differently.
And this is CIA, Contagious Influencers of America. I'm David Sams. Today I have best-selling author and award-winning syndicated radio host BRANT HANSEN with me. He's been named Personality of the Year multiple times by the Christian music broadcasters and is an advocate for providing life-changing surgery to children worldwide through Cure International. But today we're talking about his book, Life is Hard, God is Good, So Let's Dance. It's all about joy and living at peace, which couldn't come at a better time. So let's get to my interview with BRANT HANSEN.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm great, man. I'm a grandpa now. I'm enjoying the heck out of that.
Oh my goodness! Is that why you wrote the book on joy?
Oh, didn't hurt.
I would ask you how did that happen, but I think I know.
Yeah. Well, the main process for me was just getting old. But it's true. Somebody told me, you love your kids so much, you would kill for your kids, but you love your grandkids so much, you'd kill your kids. And I feel like that's pretty accurate.
I just realized you have a fake bookshelf behind you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. I have a curtain. It hides the trash cans back here. Like there's trash and stuff. I get every video I have. I always hit the curtain to show that it's fake. But yeah, well, let me move over here so it's not a distraction of whatever. But there.
Are you still doing your show above your garage?
Yeah, that's where I am right now. Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
It's so fun. Yeah, it's the perfect.
Yeah, you see, I graduated to the theater, man.
That's cool. Where are you?
And by the way, I want to prove that it's real. It's not fake like the bookshelf.
Look, anybody can do anything with CGI these days. Where are you? Like in a church balcony or a theater? Like what is that?
No, I'm at the homestead.
Really?
Yeah. We have a little 18-seat theater here. So next time you're in town and you want to do one of your stand-up nights, come over here and we'll book 18 people that we fake.
Heck yeah! That's hilarious and awesome. That's so cool. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so what is this? What is this, book 4 or 5 now?
This is book 5. Yeah.
So this book is on what? Joy, right?
Yes.
That's the underlying.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about this book because it certainly has been a trying time over the last 3 or 4 years. And I woke up this morning and saw headlines that, first of all, things are 25% more than they were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the anxiety and the frustration and the what now, what next is just building up. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And so a lot of that goes into the writing of this. People are very anxious, extremely anxious. And we know that. And it wasn't just the pandemic. It even predates that. But the pandemic made it worse. Politics makes it worse. World events. And for somebody who wants to trust God, I'm trying to tell people, like, you can trust his character. And all this stuff, when he was telling people not to worry, don't be anxious, he's telling people this. They were dealing with the same stuff. Some of it worse in terms of their life expectancy was shorter. The food insecurity was worse. There was war. There was racism. There was oppression of all sorts. There was there's nothing new under the sun. But he actually told us we don't need to be anxious. He's not being unrealistic. He's not crazy. Like, we can't actually live this way. And so that's what the book is about, to say, here's how we can do this, to be fully aware of all the things that are going on in the world and still know that I can be of good cheer because I know how this all ends and I can trust God's character. But people forget that. So it's all a big reminder.
How can you trust God's characters when a lot of characters representing him have let us down?
Oh man, that's just it. I've been let down personally, huge ways, by people who take on his name. But I don't want their hypocrisy to stand in the way of me with the best relationship I can possibly have. I'm not going to give them that sort of power. There's a lot of people I've known up close and personal who've been extremely disappointing and hurtful and a fraud. But I'm not going to give them the power to stop me from actually knowing God. I trust his character because I've seen things he's done in my life, things he's done in other people's lives. I've had some extreme, not all the time, but just a couple answers to prayer that are just inexplicable. Like, his goodness is just, I recount one of them in the book, but I could go on. It's like, there's no other way to explain that. And so when I go back and recount how good he's been, that gratitude chases away the anxiety, which is a very biblical thing. We're told to don't be anxious for anything. Instead, come with gratitude to the Lord, and then the peace of God will guard our hearts. It's very difficult to be grateful and anxious at the same time. Those two things don't work together. So if I'm constantly being grateful and I'm training my mind to be grateful, I become a different sort of person. I become a less anxious person. And I can be reminded again that this world actually for me is safe. Even in the worst case scenario, I'm going to be okay. This is what Jesus is telling his disciples. The boats could go down in this storm, but ours, you have little faith. Like, don't you know I'm going to take care of you? Like, that's the beautiful thing, is just knowing that we can actually trust his character. But I think you learn that in life, and you learn it from observing other people's lives too.
How did you get to know God, and how did you come to trust him?
Well, I knew of him from growing up in church, but it was a very, very traumatic childhood of being the son of a pastor with a lot of hypocrisy and hurt. I was terrified. And we went through a couple divorces, a lot of broken stuff, a lot of trauma. So for me, trusting him has not been an easy thing to do. But again, I have seen his faithfulness. I've seen him take things that, like, for me, I've got some disabilities, some issues that I've actually seen him use to be a blessing to people. I've seen this over the arc of my life where he's been faithful. And I rehearse those things over in my mind. The other thing is, it's not like you look in the Bible, we should be shocked that things happen. Jesus said, there will be troubles in the world. And he said, but be of good cheer if I've overcome it. You're going to have trouble in life, tribulations. Like, the Bible doesn't shrink away at all from the difficulties of life. It embraces it. But it tells us again that he keeps his promises. And I believe that. I even suspect, and I kind of wrap up the book this way just to say, I even highly suspect that in the end, we're going to look back on our lives and we're going to think, you know what? I never actually needed to be worried. I never needed to be anxious. After all of this, God was actually faithful. And that's why Jesus is telling us, be like the birds of the air, or be like the flowers of the field. You don't need to worry. That's God himself telling us that. So I have to rehearse that. But I've just seen his faithfulness with taking my own weaknesses even and making something beautiful out of it.
Well, there's no doubt we worry a lot more than we should. And I think I read one time that but 90% of the things we worry about, or 95%, never come to fruition.
They don't. So this is the genius thing about Jesus too, when he's telling us to be like the birds of the air. They don't think about next week. They don't, and they're healthier. The anxiety kills us. It takes this terrible toll on our bodies because we're borrowing threats that haven't even happened. We're imagining threats that haven't even happened, things that could happen a year from now. And that anxiety is that fight or flight is in your body the entire time. And that will shorten your life. Ironically, well, Jesus said it's not going to add an hour, so why do it? Here's the thing too. Like, I read Tim Ferriss's book called The 4-Hour Work Week. I don't know if you ever read that. It's like this managed time thing, but he's not coming at it from a believer's perspective, but it was so good. He talked about how he, as a joke, told his personal assistant in India, he outsources everything, he said. So he has a personal assistant in India, and he was really worried about something one day, and as a joke, he told her, hey, could you worry about something for me today? Like on your list of to-dos? And she's like, okay, yeah, I'll worry about that for you. He said, I did it as a joke, but it worked. He's like, just knowing somebody else was out there worrying for me was helpful. And I'm thinking, it's repeated Old Testament, New Testament, to cast our cares and anxieties on God. It's literally outsourcing our worries to him. Let him handle it. Not only can he be concerned about it for us, but he can actually do things about it. But it's helpful just to have somebody else worrying about it. Imagine someone with the power to actually change things and just go, whatever this department is not my department. I will pass that along to him. And I think it's genius. And I know it works. I know it works.
So when was the last time you worried about something?
Oh man, that's a great question. Yesterday, my favorite sports team was down by 1 goal with like 5 minutes left. They actually won. You know what? That's a great question, and nothing is popping into mind. I guess when a family member's sick, you have that anxiety. But I do know that actually talking to God about it and replacing my anxious thoughts, that's the thing. We actually can take our thoughts captive. This is not hocus pocus or psychological talk. This is actual scripture stuff. Like, you can realize what you're thinking and speak truth to it. Like, God's been good to me before. He keeps his promises. I'm going to be safe. He's going to take care of us. He's got the big picture. I don't. And then I'm going to think of things to be grateful for. But that's actually capturing my thoughts, my thought train, and redirecting it, which is why Paul's even saying, like in Philippians, he's saying, put your mind on things that are pure and lovely and admirable and true and noble and right and excellent and praiseworthy. And he says that in the context of anxiety. Like, you can speak to yourself. David in Psalms, it says, why are you so downcast, O my soul? Put your trust in God. You can actually talk to yourself. It's a good thing. It's not crazy. Lamentations. The guy's like, okay, Jerusalem's going to fall. Everything's falling apart. I can see it coming. Yet I call this to mind, he says, and I therefore I have hope. And then he talks about God's great love for us and how his mercies are new every morning. So he calls it to mind. You call this to mind, true things about how good God is, and you present that with thankfulness and watch your anxiety level go down, and you'll become a different person.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 833-32-BIBLE. That's 833-32-BIBLE. 833-32-BIBLE.
We put so much pressure on ourselves now because of, for example, social media, and just put so much, just create so much angst. The peer pressure thing, how do I look in front of others, we're dealing with things now that we didn't have to deal with 20 years ago.
Totally.
It just seems like we keep piling them on. Now we have this whole AI thing.
Yeah.
Talking about peer pressure.
Yeah.
How do we manage all this? I mean, how do you manage it?
Well, this is it. It's me. I'm not a highfalutin prayer guy, and I'm not even good at prayer, but I keep showing up. And I pray when I walk my dog in the morning, and I ask God to give me my daily bread. And your daily bread, think about this. This takes the pressure off. Like, God, just give me the resources for today that I need. And it's not just bread, obviously. It's, for me, it's social energy. I'm an introvert. But whatever's weighing you down, you feel like, just give me the for today, for the people who cross my path today, the tasks I have today. Let me have the resources I need. That takes a lot of the pressure off. So when Jesus is telling us how to live, like how to pray, and he says, or just pray for your daily bread, that is an anxiety reliever. The things that he tells us to do actually takes a load off of us. Praying for our enemies or praying for people who don't like us, people who drive us crazy, takes the load off for you when you do it. Like, you don't feel as angry anymore. You can let these things go. Like, his way of living is a different way, and his way is lighter. So trying to practice those things has helped me become a different sort of person. It's not just a thing that you can just throw a switch and go, hey, this year, my New Year's resolution, I'm never going to be worried again. What you want to do is become a different sort of person from the inside out. And that's what I'm talking about doing the stuff Jesus told us to do, which is actually fun. Blessing your enemies, praying for people. It's hard at first, but you become a different sort of person, and then you react differently.
Why do you think there's such a mental health crisis right now in the country? I read the other day that nearly half the country feels that they live in a state of extreme loneliness.
Yes, right. Yeah, I saw today there's a stat that said that 4 times the number of people say that they have no close friends compared to 1990. So it's quadrupled. They have 0. So I think that's a big part of it. I think if we put our trust in things that can disappear, we're in big trouble. Like, if you put all of your security, because you get your security from somewhere. I mean, you got to trust something. So you get your security from your job, and then you find out AI could replace it. Like, you get your security from or your whole value in life from your spouse, and then your marriage goes south, or someone dies, or your country. My country will always be here. Then you see, actually things are more tenuous than that. It cuts you to the core. Whereas if you actually are trusting something that can't be shaken, no matter what happens, I can have a sense of well-being. Even if I'm grieving. That's what joy actually is, by the way. It's a sense of well-being regardless of circumstances. Regardless of circumstances. Like, this is something that's really weird and countercultural, but it's beautiful, because if people associate that with Christianity, they'll have a better picture actually of what Christianity is, what following Jesus is. Like, we're the ones that are supposed to be so hopeful that people are like, why are you hopeful? They actually ask. So we're supposed to have a ready answer when people ask, because we're so weirdly hopeful, even if the world is completely chaotic and gone crazy. Like, we still have hope. That's who we're supposed to be.
So you talk about writing this book in a more childlike way. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, so it's funny. Let me put it this way. There's a real beauty in simplicity. And sometimes people think if you have a simple faith, it's because you're naive. You just don't know what's going on. The truth is, you could be completely informed and and still be joyful. Why? Because you know more, not less. You know more. You may be fully informed on all the world events, all the things that could cause stress. You're not naive about any of that stuff. But it's like, I tell people, it's like watching a game live. You watch a game with your favorite team and they're behind, and the refs are making terrible calls. You're getting agitated. Oh my goodness, what's happened? But if they win at the last second and you rewatch that game, you're not upset about the refs anymore. You're not rattled. You're still excited, but you know how this ends. It's a totally different watching experience. It's like you can watch, but there's a lightness of heart because you know your team comes back and hits that shot at the buzzer and the crowd goes crazy and you cut down the nets or whatever. It's like, I really think what Jesus is telling us, hey, you're going to like how this ends. I'm going to keep my promises. And you don't need to worry. You don't need to be anxious. You can be of good cheer because I've actually overcome all of this. And his promises have been pretty consistent. So I'm taking that to the bank. And that's something, if you don't have that, I don't know how you avoid being overcome with anxiety. I don't know. I would absolutely be.
Hey, how's your podcast doing?
Good, I think. I mean, I don't keep track of all the data on it and stuff, but it seems like it's having a good influence on people. So.
Well, I know you have millions of downloads and all that. It's kind of a fun thing that we can have these kind of conversations because we just don't get to do this on the air, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
we have probably getting close to 20 million downloads, but we also have 20 million episodes. So, you know,
it just doesn't stop, does it?
No, like this. I don't know what that means, but
are you ready for? I'll be back down there. Maybe we can go to a game. Spring training starts couple months?
Couple months. Yeah. Probably end of February. So
yeah.
Let me hang out with you guys again. That was so much fun.
We'll hang out and share some peanuts.
That would be excellent. I would love that. I'd love to get caught up with what you're doing with Keep the Faith and everything too. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, our big thing now is that we launched Mind Health Management, and you'll see it this weekend. You'll see it's on lovestories.com, but it's also going to be on KeepTheFaith.com. But we have our own the VIP Therapy Plus management or membership suite. And we have over 30,000 therapists. Well, you know what? It's one thing, as you know, it's one thing to give people encouragement through songs and stories, but at the end of the day, you got to give them tools like you're doing with your books.
Yeah.
You know?
So is this like you're partnering with like a BetterHelp tech network or a Faithful?
No, we have amazing providers, but we put together our own company, our own network, and we have an amazing providers, but Mind Health Management is managing it. And we have 30,000 therapists in the United States and Canada. And we have a wonderful, just wonderful team.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
It's taken a better part of a year to put it together.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, you know what? Because we're trying to eliminate some of that angst. We're trying to eliminate some of that stress that people have and trying to give them real tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
So you need to check it out. You need to check it out.
Well, there's no shortage of needs for therapy.
No.
So, that's great.
Our big thing is that we want to make it affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
That's the big thing. We want to. We're also offering it to companies, and the companies it's a whole other ballgame. But we want to make it a major benefit that everybody should have. But I really applaud you for what you're doing, and I'm a big fan, and I really appreciate this book and the books that you write.
Thank you.
In our time together. But when I come down there, let's spend some time together and figure out we got to figure out something to do together.
Yeah, I totally agree. That'd be a blast. I'm simultaneously overloaded and wanting to do something different. So,
well, that's kind of the way we felt is with what we're doing. At the end of the day, you want to wake but go, you know what? We really made a difference. We really not only shook things up because we're all good at shaking things up, but we really provided something that helped people get through a season, and as a result, creates a ripple effect of just good stuff.
Yeah, I hear you.
Good talking to you, my friend.
Awesome. Thanks for being so creative, man. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks again, Brant. Brant's book is called Life is Hard, God is Good, Let's Dance. And it's available right now. Also, you can check out his podcast with his friend Sherry Lynn called The Brant and Sherry Oddcast. They named it, not me. So check that out. And of course, you can check out our podcast at ContagiousInfluencers.com, where you're going to find all kinds of episodes, 250 or 60 or 70 episodes. So do check those out. Please do rate and review us and share with your friends. And of course, you can check out our radio show website at KeepTheFaith.com, where you're going to find all kinds of goodies. Until next time, I'm David Sams. Go out there and live that life in living color, because it sure is a heck of a lot more interesting than living it in black and white. See you next time.